All right, here we are, Techthusiasm living room home theater overhaul, massive overhaul vlog number 2, and it's rack day. We're going to do a rackathon today. I almost thought about doing this as a live stream, but then I was a little afraid that it would kind of slow us up, and I've got my son here to help out all day long. It's 11 a.m. on a Sunday. We'll see how long this whole thing takes us to do. I imagine it's going to be the better part of the day, but I want to hold this second vlog instance of the project basically to the rack work. Check out vlog number 1 where I went over the whole project, the goals, the plans, and stuff like that. But today, vlog 2 is all about the rack. So I'm starting here with the rack almost essentially as it was in its original condition. The only acceleration point, extra starting point, is that the Strato V that was in here has now been removed and the faceplate taken off. Otherwise, things are as they were after vlog number 1. By the time that we finish this instance, this step of the project, this entire rack should be completely rebuilt. So let's do a real short overview of the plans and the goals for the re-racking. So again, check out the first vlog video for the full overhaul, but suffice to say, we got to take some stuff out. We're going to shift a bunch of stuff up. We're going to move the drawer from the left to the bottom right. We're going to replace and add some WattBox power conditioners on the bottom left. We'll do some more shifting and condensing here. We're going to replace the triad rack amps with the other M23. A little more shifting and condensing. The Synology will go up on the upper right section of the rack, and then the other sources that originally came out, Apple TV's Kaleidescapes, will go in this upper left-hand section. So my goal here is to do this with the least amount of effort possible in the most efficient way possible. So I am hoping, wherever possible, to not end up disconnecting and completely uninstalling all kinds of stuff. I've got a lot of existing wiring in the back of the rack, like basically zip tied down and locked down in good paths that can probably stay in the paths that they're in. So we'll do our best here to basically just try to raise and lower and keep the integrity of as much as we can. Of course, where necessary, we will have to disconnect and reroute wires and all of that stuff. Good to be starting early. I've got the whole day available to do this, and then from there we'll actually move up and start working in the living room itself. So let's get started. We managed it with 2 people, so my goal here, I was standing, I probably should have recorded it, standing on the side of the rack holding the NV underneath while my son unscrewed it. We moved it up. It's 1, 2, 3 units, so we're looking good. I did depower this side of the rack. Always good to turn things off when we're plugging things in and out a bunch. Got the blank in here for the future NAS. A lot of folks out there wanted me to buy that Unify. The 2U vent, which was already above the ManVR. The ManVR moved up, so we're going to keep working our way down until we make the space for the drawer. Hopefully we can get all of this without any imperial entanglements or troubles. All right, project is coming along. We now have the NAS up on top. The right side is pretty well set now. Looking real good, So the blank for the future potential NAS, the vented blanks, MadVR, AVM90, and the NAD amps down below. We got the drawer in. Works good, not pinched or impeded in any way. Starting to build up from the bottom. So we basically kind of went down the right side, over to the left and back up. So we're going to open up the WattBox, the new WattBox 820s, shut down power to the whole rack while we get the new stuff in, and then we'll build up from the left. I was able to do everything without having to disconnect all the speaker wire and the interconnects between the amps and the Anthem. That was handy. My wife came in. She was holding from the front. I was holding from the back, and my son was running the drill there for all the screws. Real good. Halfway there. All right, it's 1:45. Not quite 3 hours so far, but this slowed us down a little bit here. Actually, I filmed a video, an unboxing kind of overview of the WattBox 820s, and then we racked them all in. So power is restored. Other members of the household need to use the internet and stuff while we're doing this project. So I got to be selective in terms of what is powered and what is not. But the family's back online. The bottom 820 is plugged into the UPS. The upper 820 is for the amplifiers and such. Those are currently all disconnected. I will power those later. But yeah, we got to keep building up. So we're going to be basically shifting left side equipment down. We'll get the Triad amps out, get the other M23 in as we continue to build up the left side to the very top of the sources. More than halfway there, more than halfway there. Awesome. All right, we're getting further. So the living room system is now no longer functional. In preparation for demolition starting Tuesday. The Triad amps are out. They're just sitting over here. We'll have to box them up. I haven't even begun to do anything in the living room yet, other than I went and grabbed the Apple TV out of there, because we're going to start working on the source section in a moment. But this is looking nice. The two M23s, one right above the other, the STR preamp. This was meant to be a 2U vent panel. I have the panel sitting right here. But so this is really only our first snafu. If I push the STR all the way back on the shelf as far as it can go, this unit and this unit were meant to hold that other vented panel. However, because the face of the STR curves forward here, if you try to put a panel all the way down, it occludes it. It hits right here and it can't get all the way to hit there. So there won't be a 2-unit vent above the STR. I'm just using the blank right now, a single unit blank. I may order a 1U vent to replace this blank, or maybe we'll just leave the blank in. We'll see. Maybe just put the vents above the amplifiers. But so all throughout the rack, the amps are vented, and now the power management stuff is vented as well. So looking good. And then we've got 7 units left. 7 units left to work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got Apple TVs and then Kaleidescape section going in there. And I happen to have the Apple TV shelf right here. So I went and grabbed the Apple TV from the living room. In my conventions, whatever's on the left is always the upstairs. Whatever's on the right is always the downstairs. So they actually put their name on it. This came from a place called Pure Theater. A place in the UK. They make custom rack elements for all kinds of different stuff. And after a little bit of shopping, I know I wanted to do 2 Apple TVs side by side. I wanted a metal shelf. I didn't want it to be so specific to this version of the Apple TV, just in case we do get a new model in the next couple of weeks, perhaps, maybe in the next month or two. My prediction is that if we do get a new Apple TV, it's not going to be systematically or majorly different in form factor than what we have. So I'm kind of banking on the fact that this shelf will continue to serve its function even if these units get swapped out, because no matter what it is, call me a sucker, but I will buy the brand new Apple TV model as soon as it's available. So, but it has this nice retention bar, so you can actually unscrew it a little bit just to show. So you can raise and lower this. So if the new model is a little bit bigger, a little bit chunkier, dimensions are different in a certain way, this shelf should still fit. It doesn't need to be this deep. I wish they would have cut it off maybe about halfway, but I will be able to coil up some of the power cable and Velcro tie it to these slats right here. It does have some venting and stuff as well, which is fine for anything that might be underneath it. Not a lot, but in any case, this is going to go on the very top. So we're actually going to build top down now to meet up to the audio section for the living room. So we'll get this guy in, and then onward to all the Kaleidescape stuff right after. All right, that looks pretty sweet. I like this shelf. It's a little tough to work with though. The little bar that holds the Apple TVs in doesn't actually really do a super great job of holding them very snugly, as much as I might like it to. So they do slide around a little bit. If you knock them, they will move, but there's not a lot of room. I put this at the very top. Not a lot of room to work with, but I got the cables in first, and once it's all settled, it'll be fine. But now we're gonna get the Kaleidescape in there. There we have it, at 3:30, 4.5 hours minus a couple breaks. And at least from the perspective of the front, it's done and powered, but there's still a lot of rewiring and buttoning up to do in the back. So my son has been relieved from duty, at least for a little while. There's not enough room for us both to work in the back there effectively anyway. So I'm going to still be down here for a little while, getting things set back up. I do want the theater room to be functional during the couple of weeks while the living room will be down. So, and I still have to initialize the new Strato E, get that configured, get it on the system, Velcro down, tie up a bunch of the power cable connections, optimize particularly some of the Ethernet drops and lines that are running in the back. Get the amplifiers plugged in and route their power cables nice and clean. So yeah, take a look at the back here just a little bit, but I'm very happy with the way this turned out. I may still tweak this triple single blank section a little bit. I do have the double vent. I could take these two bottom one out and put the double vent up. Might just order the single vent, turn this into a double blank like this for now, though I think it's kind of fine the way it is. It does look nice with all the new rack screws. My prior rack screws had been used and taken out, put in, taken out, put back many times over. They were all kind of scratched up and that, so there were a couple different kinds as well. So to have uniform screws with washers properly and all the holes not scratched up is a nice little embellishment as well. Though I did stick with the silver screws. I had to stick with the silver screws on the Ubiquity gear. Come on, the only kind of outlier to the blackness of the face of the rack. NAS is sitting tall up there. The PC is still upstairs. I think vlog 3 will be the disassembly of the living room, so we'll cover that separately. Yeah, my headlight charged up, and I get my glasses on because I need to be able to see back there. Start working on this wire routing. Alright, here we are. I think this is where we're calling it now. Everything is wired. The home theater is wired back up. The living room is basically offline. I have more work to do up there. Again, wait for vlog number 3. But we're connected, we're powered, HDMI, network, everything is networked. NAS is back online, running. So again, Apple TV shelf worked out very nicely. That thing looks nice. It just needs a little bit better of a clamping mechanism. I love the look of the two Kaleidescape players next to each other. Pretty sweet. Server underneath. The vented panels doing their job. Much improved, I think, with the front racked WattBox stack. The drawer is now at the very bottom. It's so much easier to work behind the rack now for all the stuff that we were just doing. Rerouting some cables, taking some cables out, putting other cables together. Now it's time to validate the home theater actually is fully working like it's supposed to, and we'll wrap this up. All right, let's take a little peek in the back as well before we go. So a lot of stuff routed. Maybe a little more things could be tied up, but I try to keep it super tidy. Nice short cable runs. All the Ethernet lines are green from the Apple TVs and the Kaleidescapes. Got that rack shelf for all the power bricks. That's such a good idea. And the server hanging underneath. There will be more cables going in here. So right now the STR is not connected to the NAD amps. That should only end up hopefully being 2 XLR runs. The speaker lines are not run, that I'm going to be using anyway, are not run from the living room down here yet. That'll be a project for next weekend. But the Control 4 controller is wired in, the MDX, and then of course the power management stuff. Again, got all these power cables like figurated and looped up and tied up, nice and clean. The white lines are the speaker lines for all of the whole home distributed audio. Again, green for Ethernet. Got these HDMI. These are HDMI loops coming from the Apple TV and Kaleidescape going over to the AVM90 on the other side for the servicing the home theater. Not using a lot of the power strip much anymore with the amps, all the amps, 4 amps plugged in, 5 amps actually, because the MDX as well, plugged into the WattBox going to the wall. There's a lot less on either side now plugged in actually to the strips. Let's take a look at the other side. I gotta be careful here. I should have gave myself more slack for my speaker wire, but there's enough to work. So a lot of Ethernet cables going into the back of those patch panels. One above it and then one below to the switch there. Then the Dream Machine and the cable modem, everything plugged into the strip. Not a lot, of course, needed for the MadVR, just power, a couple of HDMI lines, Ethernet, and then a lot going on with the AVM90. Of course, plugged in over there to the strip. Down, 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 all these XLR cables. There's my long HDMI spools. I got 65 foot with a lot of slack. RUI Pro makes great cables, but they need a length in between 50 and 65 feet, I think it is. I would like that. And then the drawer down there. Lots more room on the bottom. I can tie up the NAD M28 power cables a lot better. Got all the speaker wires secured, and then my little punch through, of course, to the theater room where everything comes through. It's looking really nice. Probably, again, every time I say it, but every time you do something major, the nicest this has looked yet. So we're going to stop this vlog here at 6 o'clock on Sunday. That was basically 7 hours of work minus a couple of water breaks and a couple of snack breaks. I still need to validate that the theater is working. There's still a lot of mess off camera here, some things to be put away, but I did clean up a majority of the stuff. Haven't started, except for taking the Apple TV out of the living room, haven't even made it up there yet today. And I only got 2 days before we're tearing that wall down. So still got either more work to do tonight, or there's going to be a lot more to do in the living room tomorrow. Again, that will be vlog 3, but this is nice. This is so nice. It's so buttoned up. It's so clean. The ventilation, the presentation, similar things together, and just so clean in the back as well. Cables tied up, short run cables, just cable managed very, very well. Still got room up here for if and when the PC might come down here. I'll probably move it down here during the project anyway. No sense leaving it in the living room to get dirty and dusty. But whether it stays down here to play consistently or not, in the long run, we'll see. NASA's looking good up top. So sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think. How's the rack looking? Pretty good. Any suggestions? Did you notice anything in what I was showing off as I was going through the process that could have been better or could have been optimized in a different way? Let me know. Let me know in the comments there. Stick around. The series is going to go for a while. Again, we still have the living room teardown to do, then all of the actual construction work, the rewiring of the living room, the restoration of everything in there, and then stuff goes in, man. The Utopia speakers sitting over here to my left. I can't wait to have that living room fired up with that audio gear. And then the debate continues, the search continues, the research continues to figure out what television may ultimately hang in there. We'll see. We will see. Thanks for watching. Of course, if I can help you with any of this stuff, I am a dealer for a whole bunch of these brands and a whole lot more. Kaleidescape, JVC, Seymour, Stewart Screens, Vocal, Denon Marantz, SVS. I can provide the snap equipment like the WattBoxes, these strong racks, and other things as well. A whole lot more. Please check with me first if you're shopping for upgrades, putting a system together, whatever it may be. Reach out to me, jeremy@techthusiasm.net via email, or go to www.techthusiasm.com for my webpage. Check out my dealer info. There's a contact form there. There's a brand listing. But again, even if you don't see it in my listing, if you're thinking about it, give me a shot. Reach out to me first. If I can't get it, if I can't partner for it, I have referrals and other structure to be able to get access to some things that I may not offer directly. If you'd like to help me in a simpler way, of course, I have all of my affiliate links down in the description of all my videos, as well as on the webpage. Amazon, Audio Device, Crutchfield, Target, Walmart, eBay, apparel stores, a whole bunch more. Please use them. Have your family use them, whoever it may be. Doesn't cost you anything. Simple to click and very much appreciated. I welcome you also to become a channel member, leave a super thanks, whatever other things that you may do. Always appreciative for that. As always, please like, subscribe, hit the bell, share the video, and leave that comment. How you think about the project? What do you think about the project? How do you think it's looking? Any suggestions as well? Please share them. Let's have some discussion. Coming back for additional home theater, living room, home theater, massive overhaul vlogs, and more discussion and fun. Thanks.